Hello, Tamers, Digidestined, Legendary Warriors, and all of y'all in between. How y'all doing today? It's been a while. So, what video are we bringing you today? Well, it is a TyrantKabuterimon video, but not a deck profile. That's right. If you saw the title of this video, this is a first place locals report of TyrantKabuterimon. Buggy Supremacy. Bug King, King of the Bugs, all that good jazz. Before we get into it, just want to say thank you for stopping by. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you know when we upload consistently. And while you're down there, peep the deck profile. It's there, along with our social medias, all in the description box. With that being said, yeah, so yesterday was our locals, and it was the first tournament we had, at least of our, that wasn't just free play, not, well, I would say, official on our Bandai TCG Plus app. If you already know how annoying that app can be, leave it down below in the comment section. Also, leave it down below. Are you playing a new deck in BT16, or are you playing anything you've played before? Could be Belfa, could be Levia, Royal Knights, what have you. What did you play? Anyway, so since it was our first tournament, I was gonna play Machinedramon. You know, I am the Machinedramon mechanic. I enjoy playing Machinedramon a lot. I wouldn't say I'm one of the best players with it, but I'm very good at playing it at my locals. Alpha is definitely another choice. I do have an updated Alpha Mode deck that I can show on the channel, but I would want to get a result with it, see how it goes. But if you guys want to see it, leave that down below. And of course, I have bunnies, buns. Not gonna be playing Rapid X bunnies because Rapid X is expensive, and I just don't. I prefer Gargo, and of course this. So I chose to play TyrantKabuterimon. I knew the deck was going to be decent going into the format. I know it's... If you play consistently well, you have your ceiling of winning is very good. And your floor is not rough enough, I would say. So, we played 4 rounds. Round 1, I played against Shadow Seraphimon Vaccine. It was not a very bad game. In fact, both games... Alright, I'll explain later. Actually, I'll explain each game as I go on later. So, round 1 was Shadow Seraphimon Vaccine. Round 2 was Imperial, with the new support. Round 3 was Leomon, which was actually pretty fun. And then round 4 was the dreaded Magna X Vaccine deck. And I'll explain that feeling afterwards. So, you know, it was pretty good. We went 4-0. And I'll explain every single round in a second. I'll just go through a little bit of card choices and tech choices, and honestly what I think. Oh, I do want to mention that to people in the comment section of my profile, I did misunderstand you guys in the comment section. Yes, I misunderstood. The BT14 Kawaga, which has jamming plus EX... No, excuse me. BT9 Kawagamon X that gets piercing, but it's also Digimon on top, is very good for pressure. Excuse me. Also, if you're a fan going, we're in California, and it's like 80-something right now, so I'd rather not be in an oven. Anyway, I do appreciate this. I do appreciate the suggestions. I didn't think of it at the time. I just ran what I ran today, or yesterday, I guess. Excuse me. So, thank you again. Yeah, thank you again, and hopefully I can be a little more understanding of that, because I just misunderstood. So, the first thing I want to talk about is Mochis. So, question now comes, do I play a 5th egg? I've thought about it. The 5th egg is actually pretty nice to have. For what I would probably say, the 5th egg you could play is, what do you call it? Sorry, I'm heading right now. So if you want to play a 5th egg, Bosamon right here is actually a very good option. Because this one says when it affects suspended Digimon, this one gets 1k DP for the turn. And since that is a multiplicative buff, because it doesn't say once per turn, it is a your turn when this gives DP. So I'm assuming, I could be wrong, would not be the first time, that every time you suspend, so if you get like the 4 suspensions, say on Tyrant, so if you do suspend with Tento, suspend with Meta Life, that's an extra 2. That's extra 2k. That means both those boosts are 4k each. So you get 8k. Plus the 3k from Blade puts you at 11k plus, which means Tyrant is now going to be plus 11. So it puts that at 25. And then plus the 2k from the 1k from, say if you have TyrantKabuterimon and the 1k from Blade, makes him a 27k. Most Magnet X's don't get that high anyway, but being high enough where that is not a problem is really good. So, I might run a 5th egg, and it probably would be a copy of Bosa, but I don't know yet. I'll do the testing for it. I just ran the 4 eggs. Multiple games, we did run out of eggs. We ran out of Digitamas. So, we were hard playing stuff. So, I would recommend probably having a 5th egg, but at least right now for 4 is what I've used. Plus, since none of our rookies are egg locked, we don't have to really worry about it. You know, do we have the rookie? Do we Nuts has the rookie? You know, stuff like that. Alright, the other card I want to talk about. There's a few cards, but I'm going to bring up the most important one that I want to talk about. Because, I got a lot to say about this card. I do. There we go. Had to get it over here. And the 2 cards I want to talk about are Ukamon's. I want to talk about this. This card was good for me and mid for me at best in most games. Because if turn 1 I didn't get it, cool, get it later, it's fine. And then other games I would get it like late on like my 4th egg. And well, that's fine. You know, it also accelerates you running out of eggs. So, and the searching is fine. I do understand. And then there are times that I had no eggs, and this is a draw. So, you know, that's how it goes. Life goes. Ukamon, still good. Would consider maybe testing something else. But for right now, no. For right now, keep it. Next is Terrier. Terrier is meta-specific. Right now, at least in the mirror match, I would consider running Pomu instead. But as of my game, I did not play against Tyrants in either at any of my rounds. And when I describe my matches later, there are probably a few that I would recommend. I would probably want to say I want Pomumon more than Terriermon. But for right now, this is what I had. And remember, that profile was made from what I considered. And there was a list I saw that was very similar, just changed a few cards. So, California, love this police sirens going around. Anyway. So, but Terriermon is still very good. If your opponent plops down a memory boost, and you Digivolve and Raising to put yourself to 2, and then you drop this down, put you at 1, put them at 1, or even put them at 2. They have to out this relatively quickly, or else it's not doing anything. Or excuse me, they're not getting a memory boost back, and there are so many effects that gain memory that you need to worry about it. Alrighty then, so let's explain the matchups. So, round 1, like I said, was Shadow Seraphimon Vaccine, played by my boy, Young Yami Jonosaurus Rex. The only thing hotter than the deck he plays are the bars he spits. So he plays Shadow Seraphimon Ace. And it was a very good game. They were both. It was it was a 2-1 win in my favor. It was. I would say it was a competitive game. It was very close. Game one. Well, yes, game one was close. It was just Tyrant is a very field control deck, and if Green wins the field control battle, you have a tough time, especially with Tyrant. And Tyrant was able to win the field control battle in that deck against that deck very well, because our best field we made, or at least the field that won me the game in most cases, was let me get them. I am not prepared right now. Sorry. Where are you? Where are you? You are in here somewhere. I swear, if I pass it like 5 times, I'm gonna be annoyed at myself. Did I pass it? Really? Did I pass it again? Alright, well, we'll play the first stack. So, we made it the stack of... Tyrant. This was our stack Tyrant. So it had and it was suspended, obviously. So we had the Meta Life Coagumon that makes you swing into this. We have Blade that had... Oh, hold on. Forgot the egg. Oop. So this is so we had I call it the ultimate stack of Kabuteri. So this means this was a 16k stack. And I know what you're thinking. Well, oh, I did pass it. Come on. So in both games, this was our dominant field. Well, excuse me, in both games I won. And the reason this field is so dominant is because Tyrant is a 16k attacker, is a 16k body. And Shivamon locks down options. So if I had the option, when I did evolve into Tyrant, I would play this, then end of turn, suspend it to bot deck something. And since now both these are suspended, because I was swing with this first, or I was, excuse me, when I did evolve, I would use Meta Life to suspend itself to gain the 3k, so it's already huge. Then Digivolve into Tyrant, so for 6, so if I say I put them at 3, Tyrant's effect will play this out, and then end of turn, Tyrant suspends this in the attempt to bot deck something, even though there's nothing to bot deck, if there wasn't. But now since both Digimon are suspended, which are all of them on my field, Shiva locks out options, and in the yellow vaccine Shadows Rafi deck, which I'm just going to call it, Hood Vaccine. I'm going to call it Hood Vaccine, let's go. Hood Medicine. We're going to call it Hood Medicine. Put on a shirt. So, he would tell me in both games, when I did this lock, he had his hands full of options. And they were options that if he had hidden security, it'd be better. But with this field, it didn't matter because they were in his hand. He did out TyrantKabuterimon using a Wyvern's Breath earlier in the first game. But again, once this field came out, I always make sure Shivamon and this were suspended so my opponent really couldn't react. Plus, Meta Life Coagumon's effect to redirect the attack is really good. So we took round 1 against Hood Medicine. I'm going to call it that. We took that 2-1. I took game 1 because of this field. And game 2 I lost because he was able to choke me and choke my memory enough that if I had the only way I could have tried going into Tyrant was promoting the stack that had Blade before I had gone into Meta Life. And then, okay, sure, Meta Life, it will be big enough that it's not worried about anything. But then now I have to deal with the fact that my opponent can just easily a Lonksky Adidas Toe, a Wyvern's Breath, or even any of the big vaccine Digimon, and I can lose this stat Go and not play. So I just tried to hopefully gain enough memory, and hopefully he didn't have game in. Unfortunately, he did, because there was no way I was gonna be able to play a Tyrant that turn. So that was round 1. Round 2, I played against Imperial Dramon with the new support, and my opponent, she's so funny. She was panicking about playing me because I play her a lot. If you watch this, you know who you are. You are an MVP. 10 out of 10. Great player. But yeah, she was saying that I make her stress out with play because she considers me a good player, and so I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, so both games, she Giga Death my field and pretty much got rid of my stacks, which is what you do. But she would also lose because Partition doesn't activate on battle. When she would run into my Tyrant, because I would make her run into it, she wouldn't get Partition. And the only time that she got close to winning. So game 1, it was close. I was at 2 security, and when I won game, so that was fine. And then game 2, I had 3 security, but the only reason I won that game is because how I played it out. So she gigged off my field, and then played. She had no security. She then played. She went to the Dragon mode, suspended my Izzy, and my Izzy can't unsuspend, which sucks because I did have a hybrid in hand, so I had to know what to do. So I opened my hand up and saw that I had Shine of B. So I did evolve Tento in Raising, so that way I have a body to bring out. I would then play the Shine of B, suspending the Dragon mode, then bot decking it, and then yes, nothing gains DP, but remember, in Digimon you do resolve as much as you can. So I bot decked the Dragon mode, and basically we called it there because, well, I got game because essentially, no matter what, she had to try to build a field, right? And now, yes, I could have just not gotten rid of her field that way. But I was playing around the fighter mode Ace, which she told me after the game, yes, she does play. And I felt that was the best way to get around it. So that was round 2. Round 3 was against Leomon against What's Tony, who has been on the channel before. In fact, he was the Leomon player in the last couple gameplays we've seen. And spoiler, he is the Leomon player in the upcoming, which is our final video of it, of our Evo Cup coverage. If it's taking so long to upload that, we just don't want to put it all together and we want to get the anticipation, free chicken tendies. And the reason I say that is because, are you really going to have a bad day when someone brings you a plate of free chicken tendies? No. Everyone loves free chicken tendies. Come on, think about it. Anyway. And it was I believe it was 2-0. And it was just it was a close 2-0, if it was a close 2-0 that was very one-sided, if that makes any sense. And I know it really doesn't make sense when you say it that way, but consider the fact that if we don't get to Tyrant, Leomon can do something, and if we do get the Tyrant, it's very tough. So the reason why is because while Tyrant's suspended, you can't Digivolve it with Leo, you can't DP Mice it with Leomon, with all the Leomon effects. The only thing you have to do is play Flashy Bosch Punch, but if we have Shivamon on board, you don't have any options. And we only had that happen one time, where Shivamon was up. And that was game 1. Now, game 2 was probably the most unfortunate game, because he was missing level 4s, like, majority of the game. So I was able to get, but the advantage was, I wasn't seeing Tyrant. Yeah, I did not see Tyrant for, like, most of the game, which is very funny considering I do run a full playset of TyrantKabuterimon in the deck. So, So we actually ended up doing most of the work in that game was an old plus new stack. And I say old plus new because the only thing was the old card, it was this TyrantKabuterimon was given the work. We'd pierce for 14k, one check. And yeah, we'd always get piercing. It was just, how do we do this? How do we get this? What are we doing? And then by the time he did see level 4, he was going to use the effect Digivolve, and what do you know? He had run out of level 5s at that point, because he was hard playing level 5s. You know, the luck of the draw was on some favors, and the luck of the draw was definitely not on him on that one. So, again, Tony, good job. Really like playing you. Want to play against that Gomamon fish deck. That sounds spicy. And now we come to round 4, which was the final round, which was also the latest round because our shop was closing. Well, it was supposed to close at, say, 9 o'clock, and we were already at 9:12 when we had to start round 4. It was me and my opponent. He was playing Magnamon Vaccine. Let me explain. Magnamon X, the new one, the supposed and the big baddie of the game right now, can be very annoying. Being able to be unaffected by any effect until the end of your opponent's turn does suck, especially when you want to get around things. The only thing I was not sure about, and the judge ruled it. I forget how the judge ruled it, but so if there are any judges who watch this video, I guess let me know if this is the correct way to handle this. So, Magnamon X is unaffected at the end of my turn. But I'm triggering Digimon that have end of turn procedures. Magnamon X is still unaffected. That's what we ruled that yes, he was. And yeah, I mean, that's how we ruled it. And game 1, if we're going by the standard 45-minute timer, which we did, game 1 took 30 minutes. And my opponent scooped game 1 after 30 minutes because it was a grind fest. It was a very unentertaining matchup. If you watch this video, nothing on you, but you could agree this match was very unentertaining. The first couple interactions were interesting, but it then just became, how do we out the board properly? I managed to get TyrantKabuterimon out turn 3. He got Magnamon out the next turn. Went to swing Metal Life Quagamon into it and took some control. Rapid X, get rid of something. I got rid of something else. It was a back and forth. He would then ruin mode me. And the way I ended the game, or at least the way that game would then end, is that we had double Tyrant stack with a Tyrant, a Metal Life, and Tyrant with an Okuamon underneath, and we hard play, because we're getting -5. So we hard play Mega Tyrant Ace, give one of the Tyrants 3k to make it a 17k, to make it 17. So then the play was, I'll just get the board. Why am I taking so long to explain my plays? Let me just get the cards, because we have to explain this, because we have to put this for context. Context! Not content, context. Alrighty, so this was the end of turn protocol we had before my opponent scooped. So both these are base right now. And my opponent has a Ruin on the field, so everything I'm getting is -5k. So, The way we do this, and we have to play this, is if my opponent has a remote, and I know for a fact that if it goes through on everything, it's going to be tough. So we have to figure out what to do here. So this is a base 14. This is base 14 as well. I go hard play Mega Kabuterimon Ace. Give 3k to this Tyrant. Use this Tyrant. Use this Tyrant. Use this Tyrant first. Suspend the Mega Kabuteri to bot deck his Sala. So now this has already been used. Putting him in pending, we then use this Tyrant. This Tyrant had already swung. That is one security. So we had this Tyrant. So this is the only Tyrant left standing. We use this Tyrant's effect to then suspend this Tyrant, which was 17k, in the effect to bounce Ruin Mode. Ruin Mode was already unaffected, but still. So what we had now, this board state, was TyrantKabuterimons, all suspended. This is all suspended, and a redirect. And I had 3 Izzies underneath. So the way this board state is very, I wouldn't want to say it's toxic, is because if Ruin Mode swings, it would delete something at the end of the attack. Except, not only are all 3 of these unaffected because they're all suspended, but I'm going to redirect into Tyrant. This Tyrant here at 17k. He can't pop anything because they're all unaffected. And yes, when they become unsuspended, they will go minus 5k DP because of it. But then what do you do at that point? I think that's why my opponent scooped. I might ask him later. I might, just reconfirm. Because if the reason he scooped is because this board state was in a very interesting board state, and I say board state a lot because that's what it was, then I understand. But, so we won that, and we were talking. Do we really want to play Game 3? Do we really want to go through this entirety of break my field? No, you break my field. No, I make board, you make board. We said, he said, I'm good scooping, and I'm good scooping Game 2 as well. So he knew, and I don't know if I would have won in Game 2. It was back and forth, but I think we just didn't want to play that matchup. So I will say that Magnamon X versus TyrantKabuterimon is the least fun matchup in Digimon I have played so far. And I have played against decks where I can't do anything. I've played against decks where my turn ends before I can even do something. Or I can't play something because it stops my effect. I've played against decks that just say you can't do anything. I also come from Yu-Gi-Oh! Where that's common. I love back and forth gameplay. That's why I love older Yu-Gi-Oh! But the fact that the back and forth game between Magna X and Tyrant was so unenjoyable is interesting. And it came down to card interactions that were just so particular. And there were misplays on both sides. I think if we had both been much more, especially, I think on my part too, because I think I was making more of them. There were some misplays. I think if we were much more experienced, much more comfortable, and much more on our misplays, we probably would have been, it would have been a little more enjoyable and more concise. But who knows? That's not how it ended last night. So, I went 4-0 with TyrantKabuterimon. Tyrant is good. I knew it was going to be good. I picked it up. If you didn't pick up Tentos and Mega Kabuterimons before they were expensive, good luck. I believe, but Tyrants aren't exactly topping the highest compared to, say, Poop and Magna X, so Tyrant might be going down. So if you want to play Tyrant, I recommend picking it up. I don't think you can play the Kuwagamon, the promo Kuwagamon, if you want the extra DP. If you don't have that, definitely, the commenters who said it, the jamming BT15 or BT14 Kuwagamon that has jamming is also a very good choice for early game aggression. And with Kuwagamon X for piercing, for champion. That way your ultimates are a little more, you can play something else. Like I said, I would note that I do want to play BT, is it 1 or 2? The Argomon is Digisorption, but I did not have one at the time. So I ran to a Akuamon. So, yeah, that's what I felt. Didn't play Isaac, which was interesting, but it was I think it would have been an interesting game if I had done so. I didn't play against Numamon, which was there. There was actually a Numamon play. Our friend Leo or Ra Leo was playing Numamon, and I avoided him. Whew, whew. There were like 3 Imperial matchups, Imperial Dramon mirrors, which was kind of funny. Oh no, there were 3 players, so 2 mirrors. Pretty funny. I also didn't play against Machine Dramon, which I'm very like. Full transparency, as a Machine Dramon player, Tyrant is probably one of the harder matchups you're ever going to face. At least in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's because I probably haven't done the most testing on it. But other than that, closing thoughts. Tyrant's good. That's why the biggest takeaway is that Tyrant is good. Tyrant is good boy. Tyrant is good buggy bug. Tyrant is good shining bee. You know, again, like I said, if you want to play Tyrant, I'd recommend doing it. Tyrant is but it's also a deck you have to be very, it's good, but you have to be on card interactions. You have to know what's worth the spending on your field versus what's the spending on your opponent's field. You have to know how to use your egg properly. You have to know if your opponent's going to have nothing on field for your end of turns, are you willing to you have to understand this, and I'll say this right now, this is the biggest one you have to understand. You have to understand, when is Tyrant good to chip with, and when is he good to control with? And I mean, when you swing with Tyrant, you have to understand, if you're swinging for damage, Tyrant should go through, based on IDP. If you're trying to bait things, swinging with Tyrant can be good, and can be bad, depending on what you hit. If you hit an option, swinging with Tyrant was bad. But if there's nothing on field, there's no way to get Tyrant suspended. So you have to swing with Tyrant, and running the options is the only way you're going to lose at that point. On the other hand, chipping damage is what you do. You want to swing with maybe some rookies first and all that. Because once you put your opponent at 3 security with Tyrant, they're on a time limit to out your Tyrants quickly. Yes, you don't not have security attack plus 1s in most cases, unless you're getting your Grand Quagmon aces out. But if that's the case, then every chip damage counts. And every chip damage will mean something because it puts your opponent on a timer. And everyone knows in any game, being on a timer sucks. You know, test anxiety, man. With that in mind, like I said, if you want to play this deck, just consider card interactions, chipping for damage, and knowing what's worth dropping with Tyrant. Is it worth dropping a DP boost so you're higher than you think you need to be? Is it worth dropping the Grand Quagmon Ace to out something quickly? Like, I did that with against Imperial Dramon. They had Ken Davis, the new one. I Grand Quagmon it out. Did not want that card. I did not want have to deal with a Vmon plus Warmon or Stingmon or all that. You know, being able to get Jogres every turn consistently because it's Ken Davis. I didn't want to deal with that. Nah, I'm good, G. I'm fine. Or out the Kari memory setter, so my opponent with Yellow Vaccine did not have a Tamer set. You know, these are things you consider. And I think if you consider them as a risk and reward, you're going to play very well. That's the way Tyrant is. And I believe Tyrant is a very... I hate saying big... I would say it's a big bug deck. Big buggy boy brain deck. But those are my closing thoughts. Let me hear what you guys think down below. I've been Michael, the Golden State Kings. And I'm out. I'll see you guys later.